BERBICE. Also in the vehicle at the time of the accident was an 18-year-old male from Wim, Quarantine. The accident occurred sometime around 1 hour 55 on the Oakline Public Road, Quarantine, BERBICE. Reports are that Campado was driving motorcar HD 2939 along the public road, reportedly at a fast rate of speed, when he failed to negotiate a turn and lost control of the vehicle. The car swerved onto the southern grass parapet and collided with a utility pole. As a result of the collision, the car flipped and ended up in a trench on the southern side of the road. Both the driver and the teenage occupant received injuries and were rushed to the Portmorant Hospital.
Around 2 something, I heard that he ended up in an accident and he gone to the hospital. So right away I ended up going to the hospital, at Portmorant Hospital. And from there, they transfer him to New Amsterdam Hospital. A few minutes later, he was pronounced dead.
According to the father, his son had pitched out of the car after colliding with a utility pole.
Well, the injuries what I see so far is that he was bleeding through his ears, his nose, his mouth. Some parts from his body was like some flesh and thing was missing from his foot. He had some cuts on his neck. And I don't know if he had a broken neck, because what I made to understand that after the impact with the light post, he fell off the car. He pitched through the window or something, I don't know, the door. So he was out of the car in the trench. I don't know if he drank any water there or, I can't see.
Campado's body is presently lying at the New Amsterdam Public Hospital's mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
A construction worker of Good Hope, East Coast Demerara, was brutally chopped and stabbed to death on Friday evening during a confrontation with another male. Dead is 38-year-old Serge Paul Etwaru of Lot 380 Good Hope, Phase 1, East Coast Demerara. The incident occurred sometime around 17:30 hours at Sideline Road, Good Hope. The murder suspect, a resident of Stanleytown, West Bank, Demerara, was later arrested by police and is presently in custody, assisting with the investigation. According to police reports, a male had approached the suspect earlier, and the suspect had reportedly reached for an object in the waist of his pants, causing the man to run away. However, shortly after, the man returned in the company of Etwaru. They were both riding bicycles, and Etwaru was armed with a cutlass, while the other male was armed with a baton. The two armed men confronted the suspect, whom Etwaru began chopping. The suspect then pulled a knife from his waist and retaliated, causing the other male to drop his baton and run into a nearby yard. The suspect then picked up the baton and dealt Etwaru a lash, causing him to drop the cutlass, which the suspect grabbed and chopped Etwaru several times to his abdomen. He also used his knife to stab Etwaru about his body as he lay motionless on the ground with his intestines protruding. After attacking Etwaru, the suspect got on his bicycle and escaped. An alarm was raised by a resident who had witnessed the ordeal, and the injured Etwaru was picked up and transported by his brother to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he succumbed while receiving medical attention. You will now hear that President Dr. Irfan Ali, who is leading the Caribbean community's food production and food security program, has pledged some US $2 million in support of the initiative. Find out more in this Gerald Bryan report.
This was announced by Chairman of CARICOM, Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, during a press conference on Friday evening. Davis updated the region on the outcome of the just concluded 44th regular meeting of the Heads of Government Conference held in Nassau this week.
We also received a project proposal, Building Food Security through Innovation, Resilience, Sustainability and Empowerment, from the President of Guyana, and accepted its government's pledge of $2 million towards financing and implementing this project.
The Bahaman PM added that this proposal includes the expanse of hydroponics farming in the region. In fact, this type of farming is expected to be used as a project plan to access the US $28 million funding pledged by the United States government to support the Caribbean's food security efforts. Prime Minister of Barbados Mia Mottley, who was also at the press conference, added that the region's aim to reduce its food import bill by 25% by 2025 is a work in progress.
Suffice it to say that we also are conscious that there are some things that still remain to be done in terms of the removal of barriers, sanitary and phytosanitary barriers, in order to allow for the efficient movement of agricultural products across the region. So good progress being made, not yet there, but we hope that our voices can continue to encourage Caribbean people that claiming food security by ensuring that we play our part is absolutely vital for us going forward in this world.
Meanwhile, on the sidelines of the CARICOM conference, President Ali met with representatives from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. During the meeting, they discussed Guyana hosting the FAO's conference in 2024, as well as food security efforts in the region. Only last week, the Guyanese leader had disclosed that CARICOM member states have collectively achieved a significant 57% of the targets set to realize Vision 25 by 2025. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
A teenager was killed by a motorcar after she and her sister were struck off the electric bike they were riding on the COLDINGEN public road East Coast Demerara on Friday afternoon. The dead girl has been identified as 17-year-old Bibi Sophia Mohammed of Lot 366 Non-Parel Railway Embankment, East Coast Demerara. Her 16-year-old sister Maria Mohammed was riding the bike while Sophia was the pillion rider. The accident occurred at about 17:30 hours and involved motor lorry GRR 3130 that was being driven by a 67-year-old resident of Annadale, East Coast Demerara. Reports are that the motor lorry was proceeding north along the western side of the COLDINGEN public road, and the driver alleges that when he approached the main road, he stopped and observed the traffic before going onto the access road. However, the driver recalled when he drove off, he felt his lorry bump up to something, and when he came out, he saw two girls lying on the road next to an electric cycle. Persons rushed to the scene and the girls were picked up and escorted to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where Bibi Sophia was pronounced dead on arrival. Her young sister Maria is undergoing medical attention. Meanwhile, the driver is presently in custody, assisting with the ongoing investigation. Coming up on the other side of the break, several homeless after two separate electrical fires. Please stay tuned.
Are you a sports fan? Place your sport betting bets today for your chance to win up to $15 million per coupon. Visit any agent near you or www.superbet.gy and place your bets. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly. Superbet, your best bet.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. At least 9 persons are now homeless after two separate fires, both said to be of electrical origin, destroyed their homes on Friday. In the first instance, a mid-afternoon fire at Lot 54, Section A, Number 64 Village, Quarantine BERBICE, has left 6 persons with no belongings. The building is owned by Philip Kumar Narain, but had been occupied by a 35-year-old Leonard Sandy and his family of 4. The fire, which started just before 14:30 hours, destroyed the 2-story house. According to the Guyana Fire Service, the fire was the result of faulty electrical wiring in the building, which resulted in arcing and sparking, subsequently igniting nearby combustibles. Also on Friday, another blaze erupted at approximately 17:51 hours at Lot 359, Block 12, Non-Parel, East Coast Demerara. The one-flat wooden and concrete building was owned by 56-year-old Sarju Ramgobin and occupied by 26-year-old Alex Adams and his family of 3. The building and its contents were destroyed by the time firefighters were able to extinguish the blaze. Again, the fire service has said that this fire was caused by an electrical wire overloading, which resulted in the insulation melting and subsequently igniting a foam mattress. These latest incidents of electrical fire have prompted the Guyana Fire Service to remind the public of the importance of taking precautions to prevent such occurrences. Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat has posited that it is impolitic to wait for funds to develop renewable energy mechanisms if Guyana is serious about achieving the target of 100% renewable energy by 2050. Rupa Sinarain joins us with the details.
The world's population is estimated to grow by 2 billion people by 2050, meaning that 20% more energy than is used now would be required. Moreover, there are commitments to reach net zero and 100% renewable energy by that time. While maintaining Guyana's second-to-none environmental credentials, Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat spoke about the work needed to develop natural resources to meet world targets at the closing of the International Energy Conference and Expo on Thursday.
We are fully committed to achieving that, to working towards achieving that. But the big question is, how are we going to truly finance that? Renewables cost money. Moving to net zero costs money. Cutting emission costs money. So how are we going to truly achieve that? If we're going to sit by and wait and help to come our way, we might be waiting for a long time. So it speaks towards Guyana as a country sustainably and responsibly exploring and developing its natural resources.
The big takeaway, he said, is realizing that there will be a space for both renewables and fossil fuel in the near future. However, Bharat supported calls that small developing countries must be given the opportunity to supply small markets with oil when the demand drops.
And in my view, I believe that there will still be a demand for fossil beyond 2050, even though a small one. But who will be allowed, or who should produce for that small demand? And that is why we are saying that small developing countries like Guyana, like Suriname, like Trinidad, like the African countries. I met some of our friends from Africa here who have made new discoveries, that we should be able, or we should be allowed to supply that small demand that remains. And why? Because the other countries have been producing maybe for decades or probably centuries. And they would have used their resources to develop their countries, to create different sectors, to provide a better life for their people. And we should accept that our people deserve that kind of life too.
An important part of transitioning to renewable energy is upgrading the present Demerara-Berbice interconnected system used by the Guyana Power and Light, which depends on heavy fuel oil. Guyana has projects in the pipeline to realize its renewable energy vision, including the Gas-to-Energy project, the Amila Falls Hydro project, and a host of solar energy initiatives. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
We now turn our attention to Guyana's 53rd Republic anniversary, which will be observed with the customary Mashramani Float Parade. With less than 1 week before the streets of Georgetown are filled with colorful revelers, the Office of the Prime Minister's Mash Band is ready to deliver a vibrant display and electrifying performance. Let's have a look.
On Friday, the Office of the Prime Minister launched its Mash Band for 2023. Prime Minister Brigadier Mark Phillips urged revelers and other participants to perform their best. Some 100 persons will be participating in the band, which sports a team of blue and gold.
But there's only one way we could win. We have to go out there, as the young lady said, right? Ready to perform and with vigor. We go out there with a lot of innovation, right? And we're going out there with a together. And you have the support of not only the Office of the Prime Minister, not only the Prime Minister's Secretary, but the Prime Minister.
Coming out of a pandemic, the PM anticipated that this year's celebration will be a big one.
On that day, let us come out and be one Guyana. Let us let down our hair, right? Don't want to cut your hair, just let it out and be one Guyana, right? Let it be a day for family and a day for all of us out there and have fun. Because we've been working hard whole year, last year, we're working hard up to now, and as Mashramani, according to my understanding meaning, is celebration after work, after hard work.
Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
Hundreds of revelers, all decked out in multicolored, shimmering costumes, gyrated through the city earlier today as the Children's Float Parade returned for the first time since onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Luana McAllister was on the road to witness the action and filed this report.
The parade, which recognizes children and celebrates Guyanese culture in February every year, was not held in 2 years due to the coronavirus pandemic. The event has grown, drawing several hundreds of children to the huge parade with scores of spectators. This culminated a series of activities which were organized by the Education Ministry to usher in Guyana's 53rd Republic Day celebrations. Here are some of the schools the Evening News spoke with.
My name is Stefan Johnson from Kingston Secondary School, and we are representing the bandstand seawall. This year's theme is reveling our infrastructural development, and we decided to do the float to represent the Kitty Seawall, the First Lady project. So that is what our float is representing.
So tell me, how do you feel being back on the road after a long time?
This is what we need after 2 years. We are ready and we are back and we are greater than ever. One Guyana.
So you guys think you're going to win this year?
We are going to win this year. They can't stop us.
This is Region number 9, the RDC Department of Education. I am Sherwin Blackman, the Regional Education Officer. And so today we are promoting industries. Of course, as you see, the biggest thing for Region 9, of course, is rodeo. And our costume depicts just that. We depict our wonderful mountains, our beautiful mountains. Of course, our cashew. Everybody wants cashew nut. And so these are some of the excellent things that you can come to Region 9 and get. So I welcome everybody. Happy Mashumani, but come down and explore.
Good day, Guyana. Happy 53rd Republic anniversary. I missed it. All the way from Ascension Secondary in the West Ramville community. This year we are representing several aspects of infrastructural development in Guyana, which we know is still ongoing. So our team is streamlining infrastructural development for posterity, which means that there's a work in progress and there's so much more to be done in our beautiful country, Guyana. So tell me, how do you feel about coming back on the road after 2 years? I feel very excited because actually the last time we were here was in 2019 and we were looking at our budding oil industry. I feel very excited, enthusiastic, and it's a great opportunity to allow these children to have the experience to represent something very patriotic.
The Evening News also spoke with some of the children who were all in excitement to see the revelers on the streets. Insert.
Hi, what is your name?
Katrina Leviana Wilson.
And what school do you attend?
Grade 1 Ruby.
What school do you go to?
Primary school.
Did you see a school out here today?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying the match?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you want to say Happy Mashumani to Guyana? Say Happy Mashumani!
Happy Mashumani!
So what is your name?
My name's Araya Hain.
And what is your name?
Nevada.
And where are you guys coming from? Where are you guys living? On the East Coast?
No.
Where are you guys living? Coming from?
Friendship.
Okay, so are you guys enjoying the march?
Yes.
Is there anything you want to tell anybody? You want to say Happy Mashumani? Come on, say Happy Mashumani!
Happy Mashumani!
Reporting from the Children's March 2023, I'm Luana McAllister for the Evening News, wishing you a happy matrimony.
8 of the country's top steel bands will be in action on Sunday evening as they compete in the annual Panorama Steel Band competition. One of the bands will be the Region 6 Police Steel Orchestra, which is a combination of different bands from the East BERBICE Quarantine region. The Evening News got the opportunity to witness the band in action as players prepare for the competition and share their experience with us.
Tomorrow evening, the Kingston Beach in Georgetown will come alive for the 15th annual Republic Bank Matrimony Panorama Steel Band competition. 8 bands are expected to compete in both the large and youth band categories of the competition. The Region 6 Police Steel Orchestra is one of those bands. For the purpose of this competition, trainer of the Regional Police Steel Orchestra, Vernon Paddy, has put together a group of students from different bands with the aim of impressing the judges. The New Amsterdam Multilateral School and BERBICE High School players have joined their skills with players from the police band and will be performing under the Region 6 Police Steel Orchestra. The band is 25 members strong.
Difficult was that to bring these 3 groups together?
Well, it's not really difficult because most of them were playing pan before, so it was not a difficult task. It's just to get them to coordinate with each other. That's the main idea.
So, one band might have 2 drummers. When you end up here with 6 drummers, what do you do?
We pick the best out of the set.
Concerns as it relates to the art of steel pan music. I know the one time there was no steel pan in this town, but you have any concerns?
Yeah, well, now I have concerns because if most of the schools in the region can get bands, well then we'll be better off. In Georgetown they have a lot of bands in schools, but due to, I don't know, the region or the Ministry of Education, if they could like help out and put bands in all the schools, would be a good venture.
Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Sunday, February 19th, 2023 at 4 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the BERBICE River Bridge is expected to be closed at 15 hours 50 on Sunday, February 19th, 2023, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
And now the local stock exchange market compliments of Gassi. Sarwan returns as GCB Chairman of Selectors. This and more coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Moving, lifting, or bending, whatever the job, we at Sylvie's Variety Store have the right tools to make it happen. Pallet jacks and hand trucks for bonds and industrial sites, easy pickup and convenient maneuvers. Chain hoist from Roughneck and Northern Industrial, the perfect solution to lifting heavy objects. And then there's the 12-ton and 16-ton hydraulic pipe benders from 1/2 to 2 inch. We also stock the shop press machine from Northern Industrial. Sylvie's Variety Store stocks the tools to make it happen.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.